Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is the basics of Diag, and in today's video I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. So we'll start with a history lesson, I suppose, on this vehicle. It's a 2016 BMW 320i, and I got a call last night saying that it wouldn't start. There was a battery discharging warning on the dash. Now, 3 weeks prior to this, the same thing happened. However, the owner was, I think they were at a golf tournament. They'd parked up, I don't know if it was late morning, early morning, and then came to it late afternoon, early evening, and the same thing, it wouldn't start. There was a battery discharging warning, and they had it jump started and then drove it home. So I didn't get to experience the fault. I picked the vehicle up from the owner's house. I think I had it overnight. For I think 2 nights I had it, and yeah, it didn't fault. The battery started. The battery started the car every time. We had no discharging warning messages. I did a code scan, and obviously we had low voltage codes in various modules. Prior to this, January of this year, it had the battery replaced with the correct AGM. What brand is it? Varta? No, Exide. I think it's an Exide battery, so it's not cheap, you know, sort of unknown branded battery. It's well, at least in the UK, a sort of a reputable brand. But when I came to it yesterday evening, the fault was present. Yeah, it wouldn't start, and it just sounded like a flat battery. I jump started it. I'll also put some footage in now of what I found, a quick sort of visual inspection, I suppose. As you can see, the negative terminal on the battery was loose. Now, would that cause the battery to be flat? I don't know. Oh, I didn't bring my spanner. I haven't tightened it up yet. I'm gonna tighten it up now. It's gonna be my first port of call. I've got a couple of tools here. I've got a multimeter, I've got a current clamp, I've got this, which is a new tool I'm kind of looking forward to try, Parasitic drain tester, because that is obviously where my mind is going at the minute. Now, the owner of this vehicle she's in her 90s, so obviously also going through my head is, you know, have they left something on by mistake? But you know, I don't want to assume anything too much. I don't want to insult, because yeah, the owner's probably been driving for longer than I've been alive. So yeah, I don't want to go down that road just yet. So I'm going to check the battery voltage, check the charging voltage, and then we'll see if there's any sort of current drain present. And I think right now we might see, I haven't started it, I parked it up, it's been left overnight again, so we'll just see how it starts. So what have we got? We've got keyless, so well, there we go. So battery's flat again. However, from where I picked this car up to it being parked where it's at now, which is probably a 5-minute drive, maybe not even that. So is that enough to sufficiently charge the battery? I don't know. Might go for a drive, get some charge in the battery, then come back, see if we've got any current draw. I'm going to have to get the jump leads again and boost this off. So we'll get it running, and the next step will be checking the charging system. Right, jump leads are on. Obviously, I think the clocks have all reset. Service mileage is reset. So we'll have to set them back to what they should be. For now, we need to get some charge in this battery. We'll see if the alternator is actually working. I'll tighten up the terminal on the battery and then, yeah, go for a drive. It's going to be the quickest way for now. And hopefully we can, you know, 45 minutes driving, and then see if we can just get a current clamp round quickly and see if there's a battery drain. Right, multimeter is on, and we've got about 14.5 volts going into that battery. So looks like we're charging. Another thing we could do is use a current clamp to see how much current the alternator is actually outputting. So we're on a 40 amp scale, and on this scale 10 millivolts equals an amp. So if we just put this around this positive wire, we can see we're about 400 millivolts. So if we divide that by 10, we get about 40 amps. So it's a decent amount of current. I don't know what amperage alternator it is. There's a sticker there. Can't quite see. It says 180 amps. So it's not even 4, 8, 12, 16. So it's not even a quarter of the output that it's got. And if we turn on some of the consumers, so let's put the lights on, let's put the blowers on, let's put the heated screen on, just have some fog lights as well. This should go up, and you can see there we're now at 1 volt, which is going to be 100 amps. That's 1000 millivolts, and 10 millivolts is 1 amp. So yeah, that must be 1000 amp, not 1000 amps, 100 amps. So that alternator can provide a decent amount of current. So there shouldn't be a charging issue. So right now I just need to drive this for 40 minutes or so, half an hour, get some charge in that battery, and then use the current clamp again just quickly to see what sort of drain we have. If there is a significant amount, then I might try and set this up. I haven't used this yet. Auto Diag's Parasitic drain tester. It's got some LEDs and an audible warning on it apparently that light up, so you don't have to, I guess, stand and watch your multimeter constantly. This is the box. Probably need to read the instructions as well. But yeah, test drive, get the battery charged, and then we'll be back. Right, so now we need to set up our parasitic drain test. I'm going to use this current clamp again. There's a number of ways you could do this. As a quick test, you can just whack this around. I'm going to go around this negative lead. You could wire your multimeter in series with one of the battery terminals. Obviously you need to move this over to one of your amp settings. You could use that tool I've showed you, that something similar. The main thing you need to consider, the vehicle needs to be in its sort of locked state. So I have rolled this boot latch so that the car thinks it's closed when I go to lock it with the key. And depending on how you've kind of sold this battery drain to your customer, if you've had 4 hours authorised for battery drain diagnostics, then you probably want to sort of uncover all the fuse boxes, open the doors that are going to allow you to access the fuse boxes, roll the latches like I have just mentioned about this boot latch. Any ultrasonic sensors you're going to need to cover. If you can disable the interior monitoring, I know on a lot of Fords you get that option through the dash. When you turn the vehicle off and leave, you need to make sure the alarm isn't going to go off. If you're moving around inside the car, testing at fuses, I think for now I'm just going to hook this current clamp round, see whether we actually have a battery drain. If you've only got an hour authorised for an initial Diag, this is probably about all you're going to do. Some cars can take like up to and over an hour to go to sleep completely. So yeah, I'm just going to put the current clamp round, leave it for however long, I don't know. We'll start with half an hour and see where we're at, and then yeah, just keep monitoring the situation. So as I said, this is now in its latched position. The boot light is out, wherever it is, somewhere. We need to turn this on and this on. So we're going on the 40 amp setting. If we press the 0 button, does it do out? Not really. And obviously on the 40 amp setting, 10 millivolts is equal to an amp. So we'll just hook this round if we can. Alright, I think that's on. Currently, see what I did there? Currently 15 millivolts, so that's 1.5 amps. If we lock it, .46 amps. This, the only problem is this current clamp might not be sensitive enough, obviously. What I want to see is less than 100 milliamps of current draw at this battery, preferably less than 80 milliamps of current draw, which would mean if 10 millivolts is an amp, 1 millivolt is 100, no, it's 0.1 of an amp, 100 milliamps. I don't think the math is adding up. We're gonna have to go old school. I might even get that little tester out. I think we will. We'll try the new tool. Right, so I've got this set up now. The instructions say to have a parallel earth when you're locking and unlocking it, and then remove it once it's locked. So this is my parallel earth onto here, and the battery negative. I've got the current monitor pro hooked up between the battery terminal and the lead here. I've got this current clamp on as well, just out of intrigue really, to see if the measurements are accurate, I guess. So we need to lock the car. remove this. And we can see that's about 5.5 amps. 10 millivolts was 1 amp, and that's 58 millivolts. This you can cycle through, so it'll beep if the current draws over 100 milliamps, 200 milliamps, 300 milliamps, and so on. So I've just got it on the highest setting so far, 0.5 amp, which we know is way too high. And we'll just sit and monitor the current draw. So it's dropping there, 3 amps, oh, 2 amps, 1.5 amps. The only thing I don't know is how long this is going to take to go to sleep. Well, that was typical. As soon as I stopped the camera, the beeping stopped. So if I select a lower setting, (100 milliamps), it would appear the battery drain has gone. Current clamp's reading 3 or 4 millivolts, which is 30 or 40 milliamps. Is it? 10 millivolts was 1 amp, so 1 millivolt is 10 milliamps. Oh, hang on. Oh god, this is getting confusing. 10 millivolts was an amp. 1 millivolt is 100 milliamps. I thought, like I said, this current clamp is too, I mean, look at the size of the wire compared to the hole. I think it's too inaccurate for what we're doing. It's good for larger amounts of current draw, but for this, I don't think it's any good. We'll see how this Current Monitor Pro goes on. I've tried using just the multimeter as you normally would, but I don't think it's working for some reason. Let me show you. Can I show you? Am I using all the leads? Let me show you. So if you want to test the fuse, and I guess the reliability of your measurements on here, you need something that you have a rough idea of its current draw. So this is a H7 bulb, and I know this should draw about 4.5 amps. So we've just got one lead connected to this battery terminal. I'm going to connect the other lead through the bulb. Obviously we're in the amp setting, we're on 10 amps. And I'm just going to touch it. The bulb light's nice and bright, and we get, yeah, about 4.1 amps of current draw. So that is actually working as it should be, which it didn't do that before, which is a bit puzzling. But I just want to hook this up, I think, as well, just for peace of mind, I guess. So I've got this test set up again. Now I've got this disconnected. Just see what the multimeter reads. So we know from that previous video it was about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes for this to stop beeping, for us to tell us it was less than 100 milliamps. Let's just see what the multimeter tells us. So there we are, that's dropped again. It's actually dropped a lot lower than I was expecting. I'd maybe expect, I don't know, 0.06 or 7, you know, for the type of car it is, the amount of control modules that are present on it. However, yeah, 0.01 and 0.2, which is, yeah, 10, 20 millivolts, milliamps, sorry. I could now switch, put this current monitor pro in, and it would probably give us the same result, the same. If I switch it to the 100 milliamp setting, which I have now, it's not beeping or buzzing. The only other thing we should consider is whether something is periodically waking up, maybe drawing 5, 6, 7, 8 amps for 2 or 3 minutes, shutting down again, and then obviously waking up again. That's where this current monitor pro would come in handy. If you're in a workshop, you could set this BMW up, and if all of a sudden it starts beeping whilst you're on with another job, you can come over and obviously see what's going on, and then I guess get more time for that further diagnostic, because that is, yeah, a more in-depth, a more troublesome problem to find if a module is randomly waking up. Yeah, there's a lot more skill involved in finding that particular type of battery drain. So I'm just going to monitor the situation and see what happens. Okay, it's the following morning now. There was no more alerts from that current monitor pro. It didn't beep. I left it on 3 or 4 hours. We're just gonna start the car and see what happens. So there we are, it started without issue. This car hasn't been started since about 2:43 in the afternoon yesterday. It's now 7:53 the following morning, so it's about 17 hours and 10 minutes. Probably twice as long as it had been left previously. It was obviously through the day. Yeah, and I found the exact date this last happened. It was the 7th of September, and it is now today, the 12th. No, yesterday was the 12th of October. So a month and about a week-ish. So we've tightened the battery terminal. There's a possibility maybe the new battery is faulty. And there's also the possibility maybe something has been left on that's drained the battery. Yeah, I've just got to reset the service message. It says minus 70,000 miles overdue a service, but it's only done 47,869 miles. So that needs correcting. Yeah, hopefully there was a bit of useful kind of parasitic drain testing information. We didn't get deep into it. I might set up a parasitic drain on a different vehicle and we can sort of go through by actually locating it. We didn't find one on this. We just did like initial testing at the battery. There was no more in-depth testing at fuses, etc. There may be a part 2. If this happens again, then we're going to have to really find something, because yeah, it happening a 3rd time, it's just, yeah, it's just a no-no. So thanks for watching. See you next time.